Unit 3, Part 3, Computer Programming Essentials. To continue our discussion of data types, the char data type or character data type or char, depending on how you choose to pronounce it, holds a single character. So to declare a char data type, we would put char, C-H-A-R, followed by the identifier name, in this case, my middle initial, and this time we're going to do an assignment, equals, notice the single quote around the uppercase M. The single quotes indicate that it is one character, and one character only is the char data type. If you need more than one character, you have to use the string data type and not the char data type. Also notice the name of this identifier, my middle initial. Do you see that the M in middle and the first I in initial are both capitalized? This mix of upper and lower case is known as camel casing, and it makes your identifiers easier to read. So always seek to use camel casing when appropriate, putting multiple words together to make your identifiers descriptive, and capitalizing the first letter of each word. Remember, no spaces or special characters are allowed in identifier names, so if you use camel casing, it's a handy way to make your identifiers easier to read. The final data type we're going to look at is string. Notice that string has an uppercase S. It is not a primitive type, it is a reference type. That means it's a built-in class, and it stores and manipulates strings of characters, so more than one character. And it has some methods built in that allow you to operate on strings, and we're going to get to that near the end of the course. I think that's in Chapter 7, and so we'll come back to that later on. The escape sequence is a single character, and the escape sequence allows you to put special characters inside strings. For example, if you want the enter key to be pressed in the middle of a string constant or a string variable, you can do that by using the new line character, \n. Take a moment to locate the backslash on your keyboard. It should be somewhere above the enter or return key. You might find that it's near the open and close curly brace that you identified earlier. You can also put the \n, the new line escape sequence, inside a string. Here we've just put it in a character, but it can also go inside a string. Let's take a look. Here is a summary of the escape sequences. \n is the one that we use most frequently. \\/ will allow you to print a \/ character. You can see that if \/ is the way that we identify an escape sequence, if we want to print one out, we've got to do something special. In that case, we have to put two \/ together. And I've made a mistake here. I just noticed it on table 2.6. For the double quotation mark and the single quotation mark, that should be a \/ double quote and a \/ single quote. So those are not the uppercase V. Input boxes. We saw in Chapter 1 that we can display a show message dialog to display a message in a graphical user interface component for the user. We can also prompt the user to type something in. Your textbook covers the scanner class, and I'm not a fan of the scanner class just because I'm not, no real reason for that. I prefer to use show input dialog, and so this is how we do it. The input dialog will prompt the user with a question. The user will type in their response, and it returns a string. It will always, regardless of what the user types in, it will always return a string. Here's an example. We import javax.swing.joptionPane. That gives us the definition of the show input dialog. Then we've got public class hello name dialog. The name of our class is hello name dialog. Then we've got our main method. Inside the main method, we declare a string variable called result. String result will declare a string variable called result. And on the next line, we give it some value. Result equals. Notice that in this case, result is the L value. It's on the left-hand side of the assignment operator. And on the right-hand side of the assignment operator, we're calling a method. And that method is joptionPane.showInputDialog. This will cause a dialog to be displayed on the screen with the prompt, "What is your name?" displayed for the user. The user will type in their name. Whatever they type in will get returned and stored in the variable called result. So it prompts the user types it in, and whatever the user typed in is returned and stored in the variable called result. Then on the last line, joptionPane.showMessageDialog, null comma, and we print out hello, followed by their name, and followed by the exclamation point. I encourage you to hit the pause button and type this program up. See if you can get it running for yourself, and perhaps make some mistakes, because remember, you learn more from mistakes than success. Here's an example of what the output would look like, perhaps, if your name was William and that's what you were typing in. So, show input dialog. The version that they are using requires 4 arguments. The version they were using required 2 arguments. The parent component, again, for our cases, that will always be null, followed by a message or a prompt. There are 2 others here, the title and the type of dialog box, and you can play around with those if you want to expand and extend your learning about show input dialog, but you will not be tested on them. Finally, if we want to take the user input, in the case of the example we just saw, we had the user type in their name, which is a string. But what if we wanted the user to type in the number of cats that they have in their house? If we wanted to use that as a number, we would have to convert it from a string to an int. And we do that using a wrapper class. There are 2 wrapper classes we're going to cover in this course, and one is integer with an uppercase I, and the other one is double with an uppercase D. The method that we need to use from the wrapper classes is either parseInt or parseDouble. Integer.parseInt if we want to convert a string to an int, or double.parseDouble if we want to convert a string to a double.